Oh yeah, you see it, you feel it. This video right here is sponsored by nobody. It's nobody. Why would you think I was getting a sponsor? The fuck's wrong with you? YouTube fucks me at every corner. You think they're gonna give me I'm gonna get a sponsor on top of that? No. But I do have an announcement. So as of this recording, I just found out that we're gonna have a new Mortal Kombat movie, a sequel to Scorpion's Revenge called Battle of the Realms. And the character list for this movie is fucking insane. So we have Johnny Cage, Sonya Blade, Liu Kang, Scorpion, Shang Tsung, Cyrax, Shinnok, Raiko, Sector, Kentaro, Raiden, Jax, the one being, that's very concerning because the one being, I have some theories on the one being, but I'll save it for after this. Katana, Melina, Jade, Shao Kahn, Smoke, Striker, Sub-Zero, that would most likely be, definitely Kuai Liang. Kung Lao and Devora. Devora being the first NetherRealm era character. Yeah, to be popping up in these. Probably the first one to be in the movie because the MK 2021 didn't have any MK11 characters. From the new MKX or 11 characters. They did tease Kotal Khan, but that's about as far as I went. And as far as like the animated movies, no, none. So Devora would be the first one, and so I was going to save this theory portion for the end of this review series, the reaction review series for Scorpion's Revenge. I think now is a good time as any to talk about this. I was hoping my theory was going to be that the next movie, the sequel to Scorpion's Revenge, would be about Kuai Liang and Scorpion, kind of their dynamic, or it was going to be about Katana and Melina. Now it seems like they're going to be doing a little bit of both, and apparently it's going to be MK2 with the Outworld tournament, like in MK2. There's the Outworld tournament, but there's going to be a little sprinkle of deception in there because apparently Scorpion's arc in this, or his story, is that he's looking for the Kamidogu. He's been chosen to find the Kamidogu, and that leads me to the one being. Now, is the one being treated like the Damashi of this thing? Because if you remember in Mortal Kombat Deception, spoiler alert for this 20-some, 10, 15, 20-some year old game. But if you remember Deception in the Conquest mode, Damashi was tasked Shujinko to find the Kamidogu to save the realms, but it turned out Damashi was actually Onaga, and he used the Kamidogu to free himself or something, or gain more power. He pretty much manipulated Shujinko. So I'm guessing is the same thing happening with Scorpion. Is the one being actually Shinnok and Raiko fucking with him? Nobody knows. I don't think it's Shang Tsung because Shang Tsung explicitly didn't want Quan Chi freeing Shinnok. He even said I think he even says later in this movie that there's a reason that Shinnok's been locked away. There's a reason we don't allow him to get out free into the world. So is that what's going on? There's also the idea that there's also the fact that Sub-Zero, Smoke, Cyrax, and Sector are in this movie. One name that doesn't show up is the Lin Kuei Grandmaster. He's not in this at all. He's not in this list here I'm looking at. But I did see his name in another cast list, so I guess he's going to show up. So is this going to set up the Cyber Initiative? Are we going to see Sector and Cyrax and Smoke as the Cyber Lin Kuei ninjas? Or is this going to be the prelude to that? We don't know. As far as Katana and Melina go, I guess they're going to do some of that too, because Katana, Melina, and Jade are all in this movie. Katana and Jade being good friends, as well as Melina and Katana being, sisters, quote unquote sisters. My guess is one or two end credit scenes, the post credit scenes, or the ending stingers will be either Sindel, or they'll bring in Sindel, or they'll bring in Noob Saibot. Or Noob Saibot will probably be the end credit scene, and they'll tease the ending with Sindel or something. Because I don't see Sindel's name anywhere on this list at all. But yeah, I'm really excited to see this. I want to see what's going to happen here. You got Shao Kahn is finally going to be a villain in this. I'm really looking forward to Striker and Kung Lao because those are two of my favorites. Noticeable in their absence, there's no Kano because I guess Kano's officially dead. They're not going to resurrect him or anything. Same with Reptile and Baraka. They didn't have any voices anyway. They're just snarls and stuff. But let's hope they actually bring in At least one of them, because I like Baraka. I like Reptile. Don't let them die like this as jobbers, like they usually are portrayed as. But that's all I really wanted to say. On top of everything else, what I wanted to include into this little prelude here is that Scorpion. So the plan was Resident Evil, Mortal Kombat Legends, Scorpion's Revenge, and then do Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight as part of a special childhood trauma video, right? And believe me, that movie caused me a lot of trauma. But then Mortal Kombat 2021 came out, and I was like, yeah, I should probably talk about that because this movie has a lot of problems that I really want to get off my chest. And on top of that, this news came out. So what I plan to do is I want to do a mix up. I want to do all three movies, a reaction review to all three films. So what I plan to do is probably alternate after this, assuming I get this done by before the 31st or by after the 31st. I'm pretty sure I'm going to finish this reaction review series after the 31st of August, which is when Battle of the Realms comes out. So I plan to alternate. I want to do Demon Knight, and I also want to do Mortal Kombat 2021, and I also want to do Mortal Kombat Legends Battle of the Realms. So I'm going to alternate between those three films. So if I finish the Scorpion's Revenge review before this movie's release, before the sequel's release, I'll just jump right into Demon Knight and Mortal Kombat 2021. If I finish it after its release, I'm just going through all three. So fuck it. Yeah, it's going to be a lot. So that's the announcement, basically. There's a new Mortal Kombat Legends sequel coming out called Battle of the Realms. I'm looking forward to that. It comes out on the 31st. I do like the idea of the MK2 with a sprinkle of deception in there. So, but instead of Shujinko with Scorpion, that's kind of a neat idea. And I'm going to do Demon Knight as part of a childhood trauma special. And I'm going to talk about Mortal Kombat 2021 because I have a lot to say about how that movie was made. There's a lot of dumb shit in that movie that I want to talk about. But yeah, here it is. The reaction review of Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpion's Revenge, Part 4. And once again, we got more unnecessary X-rays. This again is one of those X-rays I'm like, didn't need it. Again, there's a lot of overuse of X-rays in this movie, and there's only a few times where I'm like, yeah, that was an appropriate time for an X-ray, and it works well. Here it's like, yeah, here, look, X-ray. Remember the Mortal Kombat games? Like, yeah, I remember. I got it. Thank you. I fucking love that. He just kicks the head like, fuck you. I love this Scorpion so much. First of all, why is that dragon logo, the Mortal Kombat logo, backwards in that shot? I'll never know. And secondly, there's Kano, and I don't know if this was a reference to the first movie where they had him come out of the darkness. I think that was when he fought Sonya Blade. He was like in the darkness, and you see the red eye in the dark. It's like that, which is a kind of a cool visual for Kano. But I don't know if that was the case or not. But unfortunately, he's not one of the theatrical Kanos that becomes like iconic. Of course, I love Trevor Goddard in the '95 movie. My opinion is of the '95 movie has kind of changed between doing part 3 and 4 of this reaction review. But yeah, it's I do like Trevor Goddard at least still. He's been consistently a fucking darling in my opinion. And then of course there's Josh Lawson in the 2021 movie, who's the fucking standout. He is easily one of the best things about that fucking movie, which is kind of sad because there's so many great characters in that movie. Or so many great characters that they pull from the game to put into the movie, and they all mostly suck except for Kano, Kabal, and Kung Lao. But yes, this is Kano, and he's in this movie I hope you enjoy him because he's in like 2 other scenes in this movie and they're very fucking brief. Why, hello, Jackson Briggs. How may NetherRealm Studios rip your arms off this time? Nothing brings me more pleasure than seeing Sonya Blade run headfirst into a fucking force field and knock herself on her ass. You'll understand when we continue through this movie because she's really unlikable in this version.
Yeah, once again, I'm the best looking guy here.
Jax! Listen, you son of a bitch! You better open this, whatever it is, or I'm gonna use your ass as my own personal punching bag!
Yeah, Sonya's not the brightest person, is she? She doesn't know what a force field is. She's trying to punch it, even though it's not doing anything. Not a very smart person, Sonya.
Oh, that is so hot.
One, that is a funny line from Johnny Cage, but the other thing also is that as of this recording, I did see Mortal Kombat 2021, and yeah, Natara is in that movie. I didn't even recognize that was Natara until I heard she was supposed to be in the movie, but I never actually saw the trailers or see her in any trailers or anything. But then I see her in the movie. I'm like, oh, that's Natara. She looks like a harpy bat lady from like God of War or something.
Princess.
Blubber butt?
I love that guy. He's just looking around. Garo, it's Garo. I like to imagine, like he's doing that, and then he's looking around. No one's doing it with him. Everyone's looking at him like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh no, I was just excited to see Goro." That's a little interesting though that these other like random characters know who Goro is, but like no one else really does. Sonya, Jax, Johnny Cage, they don't know who Goro is. I don't think that Kano does. Pretty sure Scorpion doesn't. Well, maybe he does because of Quan Chi. I don't know. But it's just like these other people know who Goro is. Like he's that famous as far as to the other realms that they know him by name and they know who he is. And they know what's going to happen to poor Jax in a second. This is probably the second best, or maybe the best Goro entrance in the films. The 2021 movie, I guess, was fine because it kind of pulled from Shaolin Monks. And as a matter of fact, the way he had the 2 hands grab a door and another two hands grab. That's great for people who'd never seen Mortal Kombat and they see that out of context. They're like, "What the fuck? Like, what is that?" You know. And then the 95 movie didn't really do much with him, but show a shadow. So you see his shadow with 4 arms. You're like, "What the hell is that?" You know. But this movie, I think I like Goro better in this movie. He doesn't look all wonky and weird with the animatronics in the original movie. He doesn't look like Shrek, a mixture of the Shrek and the Hulk in the new movie, like he does in the new movie. This design is the MKX design. This is the more updated Mortal Kombat X design that I really like. I'm so happy to see Goro just pop up in more stuff. You know, it's like MK1, you couldn't do nothing with him. But then you have MK4, you had MK Deception, or one of the versions of MK Deception you could play as Goro. You had Armageddon, you had the MK9 and X. Like, Goro is a pretty underrated character, and honestly. He's not one of my favorites, but he certainly is a pretty underrated character and pretty underused in a lot of media. Like, they usually, because Goro only was in the one movie before the 2021 movie. He was only in like a few games. He never showed up in any animation outside of The Journey Begins, but he didn't even do anything. He was just there. He just kind of showed up, and that was his only purpose. As far as in other animation, I mean, yeah, you still have this movie, but he's not going to be back. So he's not coming back. So we know that from the end of this film. I feel like Goro deserves a little bit better in media outside the game, because Goro is not just purely evil. He's kind of an honorable character when you really dig deep into his history and stuff. Yeah, he's got a sense of honor. I mean, hell, he felt so dishonored. He felt so dishonored after the first game where he got beat by Liu Kang that he went into hiding. People thought he was dead until MK4, because in MK4 by that point, it was revealed he went into hiding because he felt shamed and he felt he dishonored himself or some shit. It's like, that's a nice beat, though. It's not a nice story thing. He's like, he doesn't die. He doesn't get killed. He just feels like he just feels like he failed. He failed himself and he failed his people, the clan, and all that shit. It's nice. It's a nice story that they never delve into in anything because it's just Goro's the bad guy. He's the sub boss. He's the bad guy. We gotta beat him. But there's a little more you can do with Goro. It's the same shit they used to do with Scorpion. Scorpion used to have this whole thing where he's just a villain. And MK95, well, in that one it's a little different. He was a slave under Shang Tsung's power, so that gets a pass a bit. But then you got like MK 995. Was it Annihilation? He should be out of Shang Tsung's grasp by that point. But nope, he's working with Shao Kahn. You have the Defenders of the Realm. He's a villain in that too. You have Conquest, Mortal Kombat Conquest. He's a bad guy in that too. They always make him a villain. Nowadays, they try to make him more of an anti-hero, vigilante sort of character, much like Phaelus would say. I would say I don't know if an anti-hero, I would say he's more of he's in between. He's kind of a tweener, as the wrestling fans would say, where he's between being the good guy, but he also will be a bad guy. It depends on what he's been promised. Like in this movie, he's working with Quan Chi because he's been promised revenge against Sub-Zero and the resurrection of his family and clan. He was promised that. That's the only reason he's hanging around Quan Chi. And the 2021 movie, he's purely a hero. He's just straight up a hero. Yeah, that's his whole thing in that. But I'm glad they're doing. I wish NetherRealm would do a little more with Goro and delve into the backstory and the kind of the. I'm not saying we need a whole Goro movie, but have something where we know more about Goro's character, other than he's just a big brute that kills people because he's a bad guy. You know, because Goro, he has been a villain, but he also has a bit of nuance to him that I think that these newer things should explore. And there's more to him than just he's the big bad sub boss. You know, do more with him.
Jack, no!
Relax, kid. I've got this.
You want to bet your arms on that?
All right, ugly. You want to dance? Let's dance.
If you're gonna bite Johnny Cage's MK95 line, you should have went for the balls instead.
All right. Let's dance.
Here's an idea, Jax. Instead of repeatedly punching Goro in the stomach, you could like sidestep him and run right out the back door. Just a thought. I mean, call me silly. It's just something I thought of immediately when I saw that door open up.
Do you think Quan Chi is a man to be trusted?
What choice do I have?
We all have choices. Live in the past, or live for the future.
And my revenge?
Revenge is too heavy a burden to carry. You are a free man. It's time you start acting like it.
I like this little dialogue between Scorpion and Raiden. Raiden trying to convince Scorpion, like, listen, this isn't going to help you. And I don't think Quan Chi's going to keep his promise. Which, obviously, Quan Chi won't. And I think they're really setting up Shinnok to be this really big, badass boss that's going to, like, destroy the realms if he gets free. Something that even Shang Tsung doesn't want Quan Chi doing. He does not want that happening. I also like that little skull that Raiden picks up in the trophy room. I like to think that skull is probably belongs to the Great Kung Lao. This is something I thought about when I was watching. I was like, is that supposed to be the Great Kung Lao skull? That'd be kind of brutal if that is his head. I feel like that's something Shang Tsung would do. But overall, this scene is really nice. I like that Scorpion is willing to listen. He's not just some big brute willing to cut Raiden's head off as if he could beat Raiden anyway. But he's not just some asshole who's just like gonna, snap. He is willing to listen to reason and listen to people trying to give him some healthy advice here. Like, listen, Quan Chi's an asshole. He's gonna fuck you over in the end, and he's a liar. He's only doing this for his own benefit. Again, my question is, I don't know why Quan Chi couldn't just disguise himself as a soldier or something and get this shit himself. That's like a major plot hole in the movie where it's like, you can turn into Sub-Zero, but you could enact this entire whole ass plot against Scorpion to get him get some item for you to free Shinnok. Why? It's such a stupid thing to do. But I like the scene nonetheless. Despite all that, I like the scene between Raiden. I think the voice acting from Richard Epcar and Patrick Seeds really brings the emotion of it. So he's like, because you do feel bad for Scorpion in the end. He's like, this guy has just been twisted and manipulated and just all around fucked over by people. And the man was just trying to live his life. He had no beef he didn't really have any real beef with anybody. But he just gets dragged into this shit by some asshole looking to free his own master for his own benefit. Like, this kind of sucks in the end. Is there a reason why NetherRealm Studios has Jax get his arms ripped off every single fucking time? Now, the closest to accurate as far as Jax's metal arms was, in fact, Mortal Kombat's Annihilation. I guess you could argue Defenders of the Realm as well, where they're just metal sleeves around his arms that enhance his strength, rather than just full on their mechanical replacements for his arms. I asked this because MK9 did it, and I was like, okay, that's a nice little a retelling of the metal arm thing. But then Legacy did it, and they were like, oh, he got a bomb blew up his back and it messed his arms up. It's just because his spine got messed up from the explosion. I'm like, okay. And then this movie's doing it with Goro ripping his arms off. And then fucking Sub-Zero did it in the 2021 movie. I mean, this man's arms are just not safe in NetherRealm Studios' hands. Every NetherRealm production or some sort of product has Jax get his arms ripped off in some fucking way. And I'm just like, why though? Why are we always ripping Jax's arms off? This man's arms are just like targets every time you see him with regular arms. And don't even get me started on how stupid the metal arm thing was in the 2021 movie. That was ridiculously stupid. But yeah, I mean, I guess this is a new take on how Jax loses his metal arms, or loses his arms and gets the metal arms. He is going to be in the next Mortal Kombat Legends as well. So him and Kintaro. So I have a feeling that it's going to be him versus Kintaro. I just call it a hunch. But yeah, Jax will be back in the second one. I imagine with metal arms this time, because there's no way they're going to just tease that until the third movie. Which makes me wonder what the third movie is going to be about, should there be a third one. Because this one has the tournament in Outworld, which is essentially Mortal Kombat 2. I guess Mortal Kombat 3 will be the invasion of Outworld? Of Earthrealm? Maybe? I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. Although I imagine it'll be a bit different, because Shinnok has to come back. Or has to come in at some point. Because they've been teasing Shinnok for too long for him to not just show up in the third movie and be the main baddie in that. So I imagine they'll probably just do like a twist on the old Invasion of Earthrealm storyline, where instead of Shao Kahn is Shinnok. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, Jax loses his arms again for the fourth time now. Well, the third time by this point. But this is 4 times in a row that Jax loses his arms due to NetherRealm.
Fake. These special effects suck.
I'm a little baffled by how much they try to push this Johnny Cage is totally oblivious to the violence around him narrative. Like, yeah, he thinks it's all fake. Like, they push it to almost the very end of the movie. Almost. I think around about an hour into the movie, he starts wising up, but I'm just like, Johnny. He's like, come on, dude.
Enough!
That is incredibly close to Raiden's entrance in the 95 movie.
Forget yourself, Lord Raiden. You are not to interfere in the tournament.
I was unaware the tournament had begun.
Kind of like that from Raiden, because Raiden's basically like, hey, I don't think is Jax part of the tournament? I don't know. Is Shang Tsung even allowed to do that to Jax? Like, is he allowed to kidnap people from Earthrealm and kill them? I thought you know, I'm not even. Probably shouldn't even question it, because Mortal Kombat in general and their rules with the Elder Gods is like so inconsistent. It's insane. But I do want to know more about that in this universe anyway. So I'm pretty sure Shang Tsung's not allowed to be snatching up people and killing them in the tournament. Like, not even in the tournament. Snatching them up and killing them for entertainment, other people's entertainment. That's the weird part. First off, I do like that Raiden healed Jax's arms. That's nice. And I also think it's funny, like, the fact that Raiden could be Goro, you kind of see why they have to put him in this mentor role in some of these like versions of Mortal Kombat, because he could easily defeat Goro without even. I mean, you would have to depower him in some capacity if you're going to put him in the actual tournament, like he was in the original games. He was a part of the original tournament. You would have to depower him severely, otherwise this whole tournament would be over within seconds. And then he would have a bunch of gods fighting the tournament and destroy the universe or some shit and have a nice day and all that.
We are here for Mortal Kombat, not your barbarism.
Bullshit, Mortal Kombat's about nothing but barbarism. I wish these movies would stop pretending that Mortal Kombat is anything but a fucking tournament full of murder, death, and mayhem.
As you wish. Kano!
So I guess Raiden's not gonna take Jax out of here. I guess he'll save him from being brutally murdered and heal him, but he's not gonna I'll save you and heal your wounds, but I ain't gonna take you out of here. Fuck that. Like, Raiden, come on. That was a really dumb moment. Honestly, it was like, Phaelus was right all along about Raiden.
Once again, I say, God of useless.
Hold on, I'm coming for you. You hear me? No matter what. I'm coming for you!
Wow. She's great. I mean, that is some serious method acting there, am I right?
What is that guy's story? I like to think he just growled for no reason. Johnny Cage just happened to be saying something. He was just growling at that point in time. I don't know what the fuck. I really do hate that Johnny Cage is still oblivious to this. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. I can deal with it for now. But, you know, at a certain point, you know, maybe in the next 5 minutes, he should be aware of what's going on.
I have determined your opponents, and where on the island you will fight. Let Mortal Kombat begin!
That's a lot to unpack. So first of all, I do love the 95 movies influence on this movie. There's a lot of, really in the dialogue, if anything else. And there's also the fact that Katana was there. That's the first appearance we're going to see of Katana. And there's Scorpion coming back. I don't know why Shang Tsung hasn't wondered where the fuck he's been this whole time, since he clearly knows he's in the tournament. I also do like this idea that Shang Tsung just teleports these people to different parts of the island to fight, which, you know, saves a lot of trouble. Because I've always wondered that about the 95 movie, when Johnny Cage is fighting Scorpion and is in this random forest. Like, where the fuck is this at? Is this still on the island? Is he in another part of the world? Another dimension? What the hell is he at? You know, this movie kind of explains it, and he's a little more reasonable about where they are, because it's like, yeah, this could clearly be on the island, sure. Rather than like in a forest or some shit, like it's in the 95 movie, and I'm just like, okay, where the fuck is this at now? This can't still be the same island that Shang Tsung resides, right?
Okay. That was weird. Did someone slip me something? Or, holy shit!
That was a real dick move from Shang Tsung. I'm pretty sure that's why we don't see some of those fighters we saw in the background before. Pretty sure that's why we never see them again. He probably just teleported them to their deaths, and Shanks just gets those oops. He just happened to get some of them just happened to be alive and survive his bullshit. And he just, especially when he did considering what he did to Johnny Cage, I wouldn't doubt that at all.
Sonia? Lord Regan? Radar? Whatever your name is.
This man just cannot get Raiden's name right. He's calling him everything but the name he was given.
This thing better not go straight to video.
And that is a line that is well loved among people who watch the trailer.
Gunpowder? Must be some sort of old fortress.
Yeah, this place is gonna fucking blow up. That is a neat visual of Baraka just standing in the shadows. And yes, that is Baraka. Supposedly, according to some people who said, oh, the producer said that that's actually not Baraka or Reptile. Reptile, you'll see later on with fighting Sonya. But it's like, how could, first of all, I could accept that this is not Baraka, but how the fuck is the other creature not Reptile? Because Reptile, the whole story of Reptile is that he is the last of his race. He's the last of his kind. Where the fuck are these other Saurians coming from? I mean, I guess maybe maybe it's possible because there was another lizard guy that was hanging around in the scene, the earlier scenes. But it's like, where the fuck are these other Saurians coming from? Because Reptile is supposed to be the last one. But yeah, but that is Baraka, and that is a neat visual because you don't know what the hell you're looking at until it starts moving, and you know his shadow gets really loud because of really loud shadows in these movies.
Oh, hey, how's it going? That is one hell of a costume. Are we live? Like you want to do this now? Whoa, buddy. Pro tip. Next time, pop a few mints.
Okay, Johnny, you have to be aware of it by now that this is not a film. Like, come on, dude. Like, they stretch it to make him as stupid as possible for the majority of this movie. To the point where he's being literally attacked by this creature, and he still thinks it's a fucking movie. Like, John, why do you have to make Johnny so stupid? Come on, guys.
Hey, asshole! That was custom! Dick!
Another line that is incredibly close to a line from the 1995 movie.
Those were $500 sunglasses, asshole.
I love that he's yelling things at Baraka as he's like throwing things at him. If you can't hear him, he did say take that and this, and then he throws a barrel while yelling barrel. Like, what the fuck? Oh no, who couldn't have seen this coming?
Eat me, Buttercup.